Fubara. And riders, President promises to immortalize Matthias. NSA Ribadu to coordinate peace parley. And still looking at the front page of the Nation newspaper, Trump's executive orders face legal hurdles. I mean, Trump is barely 48 hours on that seat and is already facing legal hurdles from different international bodies.
And the very first one is by 18 states, they say you cannot withdraw the birthright.
Yeah, no to birthright citizenship. We'll talk about that.
So many, power, they say absolute power. The American president doesn't have absolute power.
But this is a man that said all these things during his campaign. So Nigerians, I say Nigerians, Americans should have braced up for this.
Well, some states even said the deportation, the local police will not cooperate.
Okay, let's check other stories now. CMD's brain drain worsening health sector challenges. JAPA, okay, UUTH returns 1 billion salaries. Okay, over 100 terror financiers prosecuted by federal government. Okpeholo assigns portfolios to 6 Edo commissioners. Our tax reform bills will transform economy. Okay, those are the headlines on the front page of the Nation newspaper this Wednesday morning. Looking at the Nigerian Tribune this morning, Tinubu to Ogoni leaders forget historic grievances, reconcile. Direct NSA to coordinate negotiations. Ask ministers NNPCL Rivers government to cooperate with NSA. And another one, we have this one saying 2025 budget, health workers living in droves, CMDs. CBN predicts 4.17% GDP growth in 2025. Tinubu has moved economy in right direction, determined to stay the course. Bagudu. NLC expresses outrage over FG's proposed 8 billion naira electricity sensitization bill payment. And still looking at the front page.
I think I sent you a screenshot of that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, what? So why don't you give the money to NOA? Even half of it.
To sensitize the public.
Yes, what's NEPA's business in sensitizing the public? Eh?
Sometimes some Nigerians still don't believe that NOA exists.
Yes,
because gone are the days, gone are the years when MAMSA.
Yeah.
I mean, they were always enlightening the public with different radio jingles, but we hardly get to.
Yes, the new man there is doing a human's job.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope he does more.
He will certainly do more.
Okay. All right. FG alerts Nigerians on anthrax outbreak in Zamfara. And Ekiti Airport ready for commercial operations. Kiyamo Airport, one of the gains of continuity. Oyebanji. Senate insists on census this year. Decries lack of exercise in 19 years.
Is that the way they count themselves in the United States and other parts of Europe? Physical counting?
Physical counting.
Who does that?
On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this Wednesday morning, yesterday I said something was on the Vanguard newspaper yesterday talking about, let me read it again. That was yesterday. I heard 2027, why opposition can't upstage ruling party.
Follow-up.
And there is a follow-up this morning, and it says politicians disagree on why opposition is crumbling. And we'll look into that story.
Which opposition? Where are the parties? Do we have parties? Do we have political parties? Do they look like political parties? I always call them special purpose vehicles.
And sadly, they are in disarray at the moment.
They are in disarray. It might look as if they are in disarray, but they are in pursuit of something.
Okay. We'll look into that story as well, too. Poor pay. Health workers leaving hospitals becoming empty. CMDs tell reps. And another one, CBN vows to tackle buying, selling of Naira notes. Okay, FG alerts Nigerians over outbreak of anthrax in Zamfara. Tinubu has steered economy in right direction. Bagudu. And NLC blames Power Ministry, NERC, for on ending grid collapses. Birthright citizenship. Civil rights groups sue Trump over executive order. And another one, FD working with governors to end menace of out-of-school children. Education Minister. A quick look at the Guardian newspaper this morning. A metering gap over 7 million on estimated billing despite 1.5 trillion naira intervention free supply. Okay, there was actually this huge amount of money to give free supply of meters to the consumers.
Yeah, even beyond that, we are a kind of a people that I do not understand.
1.5 trillion naira intervention,
Yeah,
basically to provide free meters.
and people tamper with the meters. I have seen in parts of Lagos, K2 for instance, meters are not in people's homes. They mounted the meters, what do you call it? The discos mounted the meters where the people cannot reach their meters and tamper with it.
Okay, let me take a few more stories before we go into analysis proper. Nigeria risks empty hospitals over workers' exit. CMDs tell reps. FD confirms anthrax outbreak in Zamfara, urges heightened vigilance. Page 30 of the Guardian newspaper has that story. Tinubu meet Ogoni leaders as CSOs fought fresh oil exploration bid. Another one, maybe the last one I'll be taking on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. WHO regrets US withdrawal, anticipates review amid global health uncertainty. Page 8 of the Guardian has that story. It's still from the Daily Zone Solutions 939. Time check 9:39. Currently, let's go straight to the business of the day, and I would like us to talk about this renewed plans to engage in oil exploration in Ogoni land. And as put by the Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu to Ogoni leaders forget historic grievances, reconcile. Now, Ogoni is a particular area that has been in the news for several years, and it is an area known for oil exploration. I was privileged to serve in Rivers State, and our orientation camp was sited in Nowang Bamtai, which is one of the Ogoni lands there. And so I had a first-hand feeling of what these people were going through back then. I mean, while I was there, I could hardly believe that this was the same area that is producing so much oil for the nation because of the way people were living. I mean, and over the years, can we say that the federal government or the governments have been fair enough to these Ogoni people, not forgetting the agitation of the likes of Ken Sarawiwa and the other Matthias.
What they used to call, I forgot, resource control.
Resource control.
That was it. You see, the blame is neither here nor there. The federal government has been exploring for crude oil since 1956 in Oloibiri. And of course, there were only IOCs. You know, it was not the days of offshore drilling. Now, the despoilation started. And then the local people, too, aided the despoilation of their land in their, you know, those makeshift illegal refineries. What do they call it?
Bunkering.
With the bunkering. Because they did not have the equipment to manage the flow of the crude oil. They aided the despoilation of the land. And then, do you know what triggered this resource control? Abacha, the 1 million man march. You remember that 1 million man march to support Abacha to continue in office? And then when the people of South, they had never been to Abuja. And then they saw Abuja. You know how wide the highways are in Abuja?
Looking so beautiful.
So, this is what you guys are doing with
our money. That was where the problem started.
And then the trouble for resource control started. It did not end until Yaradua came in 2007. It was Yaradua. But the matter, of course, you know what happened. I mean, the internal schism in Ogoni land, the Ogoni 9, and all of that. And then the militarization of the Niger Delta. The situation was so bad that when Yaradua came, Nigeria was not producing up to 1 million barrels of crude oil per day. It was Yaradua that organized the amnesty. But by that time, they had shut down, it used to be SPDC, Shell Petroleum Development Corp. They had shut down their exploration in Ogoni land. Then that was when they all started moving offshore. You understand? If you check the profile of IOCs now, they have all divested onshore exploration that the Wahala is too much. So, since everybody went offshore, the IOCs, so they shut down. And Goniland, the richness of their resources. So, and in view of Nigeria's dire circumstances, the need of this administration for resources, they are targeting 2.something million barrels.
Yes.
And they just have to step up. And,
So
Bola
they,
Ahmed,
they, they need to pacify the
they
people.
need to, this man.
The people of Ogoni.
He will pacify them. He will pacify them. I mean, if Yar'Adua could do it, this is a deal maker, the king of deal makers himself. He will do it, but they have to address. United Nations awarded a 30 billion damages against. That was when the SPDCs decided they were going to get off all their activities onshore. I do not know how far they're going with that. So if they can restart the oil wells in Ogoni land, then Nigeria will definitely go be hit around 2.5 million barrels.
And one of the promises the president made to the leaders of Ogoni people is that the promise
Ken
to
Saro-Wiwa.
immortalize the martyrs,
Yeah.
including Ken Saro-Wiwa.
Yeah. One of them, I've forgotten his name now. He escaped by the whiskers. He was one of the Ogoni Nine. Yes, Miti.
Miti, yeah.
Yes. I see his name on one of the boards or something like that. But that's just an individual. These are communities. The injuries of the past, it has to be addressed. You understand? It shouldn't be pacification. It has to be addressed. And, short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans, serious plans to address the issues. And then the orientation of the people there. They don't work.
Yeah, that is. I was going to say that too,
How is it?
because then there was one of the agitations was that most of these oil exploration companies operating in the Ogoni land were not engaging the services of the people
Yeah.
of that community.
Yeah, and you remember Warri too. That it's just Ogoni land. Warri too. Warri, that when there was civil disturbances in Warri, they virtually just moved all their operations even away from Warri. When the Shekiris, the Urhobos, and the what was the Urhobos and the Shekiris that were confronting them. So all of that holistically, you see our federation, there's a distortion. Look, if it were in the day, Nigeria is not negotiable. Unity of Nigeria. Look, Nigeria was negotiated. How can you not start saying we're fought a civil war?
Saying that the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable.
We-
But this is what the president is doing, trying to negotiate
Exactly.
with the Ogoni people.
Exactly. In
Because
the
they
interest
want
of
them
Nigeria.
to feel
Exactly a part of this union.
definitely.
So you can't force a union. You can't force a union. You can't sustain a union by force. You have to be persuasive. So I think it's the right step in the right direction.
Okay, it's from the dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. Moving to another story. Yesterday, we spoke about a particular story that came out in the papers. Yesterday, talking about why the opposition parties cannot upstage ruling party come 2027. And quite a number of reasons were highlighted. Some of such, which I read out: greed of political actors, role of money, pressure from constituents, fear of losing political relevance, and the likes. Let's talk about, because there's a follow-up to that. There is a response coming, but let's look at these reasons why you feel, or why the paper felt that come 2027, this opposition parties, Labour parties, PDP, will not be able to upstage the ruling party.
Let's just lump the first three: greed of political actors,
Okay, greed of
and role
political
money.
greed of political actors,
Who
rule
are
of
the
money.
political actors in this time and era? Who are the political actors? Where did they get them from? There's no way we're not going to be talking about the recruitment processes. Where are we recruiting from? Where were they recruiting from in the First and Second Republics? You understand? You see, you don't jump on the leadership train and end up on the captain's seat. What are you going to do with it? I witnessed this Fourth Republic, and I witnessed a little bit of the Third Republic at close range. People from, it's sad, those who fought for the return to democracy, they did not participate in the processes. It was not our first 11 that was sent to the National Assembly. It was not even our second 11, I can tell you, I was there. It was our third 11 that was sent to the National Assembly. So, if Southwest had our first 11 in the National Assembly, if the North West and Northeast had their first 11 in the National Assembly in 1999, Obasanjo, what happened would never have happened. They would have taken on Obasanjo. Obasanjo wouldn't have dared it anyway. If we had Southwest have our first 11, are you going to be, but people who knew nothing. They found themselves in high offices.
All of a sudden.
And they were overwhelmed by the office. When we got to, orientation before before the inauguration, one man I would never forget, representing House of Reps, federal constituency. Of course, everything is, census. He got into his room and the lights came on and he said, a man from nowhere. He had never seen the light come on by itself. He said,
This is paradise.
This is paradise. And when they ordered ECU and then they served ECU, you're not going to serve, ECU will not be served at Sheraton like it is served on the roadside. And the man said, just like Samuel Doe said,
sweetheart, we are
we're
never going to leave this place. I remember that statement.
So that is what is topmost on their mind, not service. So recruitment is a big problem. I think the only thing that joins everybody together now, and everybody is in pursuit of, is power. Yeah, no problem with that. But power to what end?
Now, greed of political powers,
Greed
of political actors now, looking at the PDP.
That is the only thing they know.
There are so many forces within the PDP that is saying that no to Atiku's candidacy come 2027. But Atiku is insisting that come 2027 is likely, or there are speculations that is likely going to run again.
And
against the wishes of even people in that party.
You will have noticed that Atiku did not recede.
Do we call that greed of political actors?
Well, ambition, legitimate, but
is it in the interest of the party?
That is it. Is it in whose interest?
In whose interest?
Do you hear our politicians talking about the overriding interest of the party? No. It is about I, me, and myself. We don't hear them talking about the party.
The same thing with the leadership crisis rocking the PDP and the Labour Party.
Labour Party.
It is all about me.
It is all about me.
Greed of political actors.
But you see, there is a followership challenge too. Look at pressure from constituents. What are constituents going to do? What are they going to do? I don't envy public office holders, especially the elected ones, because they're the ones bearing the brunt. If I'm appointed into a board, you may not even know. I don't owe you anything. If I'm appointed commissioner, I was appointed by the governor or minister by the president, so I don't owe you anything. So long as I don't have the ambition of running for any political or public office, I can just take all I can take and don't even come to the constituency. Now, if you are elected, you dare not, you will go home, because that is your home.
Definitely.
So they are the people. When I worked as a senior legislative aide in the National Assembly, all sorts of unbelievable. If you're talking about health, if you're talking about education, yes. If you're talking about health, everything comes. For me, everything comes under health and education. Infrastructure is not the business of a legislator. Why would we expect a legislator to provide infrastructure? Where will he get the resources from? But you see, in Nigeria, we did our own. We customized our democracy. That's why we have constituency projects. You understand? It shouldn't be just cut and sew. So we customized it. We have constituency project. But I don't understand this money part of it, handing out money to constituents. I witnessed a situation. Somebody told us. He told me, he said, tell your guy, he said, my wife had a baby and I'm expecting a cow. A cow that people will sit down and eat. What happens to the baby? If you cannot...
So that becomes the responsibility of that person in power.
Sure, we pay for all sorts of unbelievable things. And if you don't meet the expectations, they will be very, very angry. And you know the retort? Everybody calls them by the jugular. I'm the one that put you in office. And everybody will describe how that one vote made it possible.
Did the magic.
Did the one vote. Everybody will tell you. Everywhere you talk, they tell you. It was when this happened. It was when I came there and did this, and then the thing went his way. How do you satisfy? You can't meet. You cannot. Even as a private individual, you're a billionaire. You cannot even meet the needs of all the members of the family. That is why it should not be individual needs. It should be communal needs, corporate needs. What do we need in this area? But if you present a community need, I will work on it. But one or two people go back. Or the political leader himself calls, identifies. There will always be weak links. That's one thing in a group. Identifies the weak links. Call them behind. They say, Egba. Those who are supposed to mount pressure to get the thing done for the community, they have been compromised.
Definitely.
And that will be the end of it. So, but you see, democracy is not an event.
This absence of a second address too, one of the reasons.
That's one reason why I moved away from politicians. And look, they are desperate. You go and sell your house. Huh? I know somebody who sold the house his father gave him in Ikoyi, not even Ibadan, not through he sold his father, not he sold his father, the house the father gave him as inheritance. He sold it to the father's house in Ikoyi.
To do what?
Politic. To politic. Now, if you sell property in Ikoyi, and probably the only one you have, are you not going to be desperate?
But you know, you can't go into politics without having some money to spend, because it requires a lot of money for campaign and everything.
I think it now requires money. It is now that it requires money. Even in 1999, it's 98, it wasn't that bad. I tell you, the nomination fee for House of Rep was 60,000. It was 60,000, and believe you me, my friend, I just lost. He did not. We couldn't get the 60,000. We were only able to get 47,000, and the party leadership accepted it because this is a viable candidate. They accepted it. It was the party leadership that did, completed the fee for 60,000. How much is the House of Rep now? Apart from that nomination fee, of course you will have to give all key figures.
The key figures
In the party.
to let you have your way.
How much? Somebody told me in 2019, not Lagos, not Ibadan, not Abeokuta, in this Oyo state, he said he spent 300 million naira to secure nomination.
300 million.
Yes. He said, in fact, the biggest of the leaders, he said he bought landed property from the son of the leader that he knew was not worth more than 1 million naira for 10 million.
And before we move away from this, one of the reasons why opposition can't upstage ruling party, as put by the Vanguard yesterday, was the absence of internal party democracy.
Maybe it is when you have a political party that you will be thinking of internal party democracy. Look, we have individuals now. Individuals. There are no parties. And it is about recruitment. And what happened to recruit? Look at the landscape. Returnees from Europe or the United States. And they have money. They have money in the sense that when you exchange a dollar, you get 1,700, or you exchange a pound, you get 2,000 something. So if you bring 10,000 pounds, you just upend everywhere. I remember we went to one Baba. Baba said, "Elo ruwa, not go and bring go, not elo move, bring money."
Elo
So that is the major challenge, and people are not standing up to them. I remember there was a time we sat at a party meeting, and one girl stood and said, "Baba," the party chairman, it was in his early 70s, said, "Baba, let's start the meeting. It is 5:30. The meeting is supposed to start by 5." And Baba said, àwọn àgbààgbà tó lẹ́gbẹ́ wọn tí ì dé.
dé.
And the guy said, what do you mean? We are the owners of this party. If we leave this party today, this party will crumble. And of course, they had the agenda. But the youth stood up to them. And they lost. You understand? But which youth are going to stand? This was 1999, 98. You see, I hope, I pray that we are just is still evolving.
Now, talking about the follow-up to that particular story that came out yesterday on the front page of Vanguard this morning, politicians disagree on why opposition is crumbling. And one of the writers says judiciary should rise up to its responsibility. Ekpeyong. Another one says LP fingers use of state resources to lure opposition figures. Another one says stomach interests responsible for defections to ruling party.
People love to ascribe all of this to poverty. But for me, I say poverty, there's a material poverty, and there's a poverty of the spirit. When people stand for nothing, no convictions, and if you're hungry, if it is material poverty and you are hungry, actually hungry, look, will you just eat anything? Will you just to satisfy, you know, that immediate craving or need to fill your stomach? Are you not going to do a little bit of introspection and look beyond now? Have we lost that? Is it now? All this gratification now. It's not going to take people far. You see, this thing that is happening, the same playbook, Obasanjo's playbook. It's the same playbook. As strong as the culture, the political culture in the progressive then was, AD was factionalized. I was baffled when I was in Abuja and I saw AD hold 2 congresses. I said, progressives. And Obasanjo's handlers, they were able to factionalize, and that was the end of AD. And then the other party, APP broke up into AMPP, and then CPC, and on.
And you feel it's still operational now? It's still happening now?
Look, how the government in the party, the one we call APC, how did they evolve? ACN, what do you call him? The president's ACN. Then CPC of Buhari. Buhari had mass following. CPC, ANC was controlling Southwest, and maybe
ACN.
Now, look, it was a disaster. The only driving force was power. Why would Tinubu be in bed with Buhari, an ultra-conservative and a progressive? And Tinubu agreed to that alliance simply because that was the only thing that looked like it could guarantee he get into power. What was the consideration? Power. But you see, it is good to get power, but what are you going to do with
So Labour
power?
Party is right by saying that there is use of state resources to lure opposition figures
If Obi had
or
won,
to cause disarray within those opposition parties.
if Obi had won, what would they have done? It's the same playbook. It works. It doesn't fail. At least you will get re-elected.
Now, the APC government engaging Wike as a minister, do we see it as a way of luring opposition to their side? Knowing how big Wike is in the opposition party,
Yes.
and he's now being used as a minister of the FCT.
It's the same playbook. In the days of Obasanjo, I know leaders of AD. You know, AD culture was such that they will not even take your calls. Not to talk of you inviting them, you know, to a meeting, and then they attend the meeting, and then they are the ones that were now providing strategies for Obasanjo's playbook to destroy the party. And it succeeded. So, Wike, if Wike is there, you can be sure that there is somebody to checkmate Atiku. And the structure of the party is virtually in the hands of Wike. So which other ally do you need?
What did you say? Repeat the statement now, the last statement.
The structure of the party.
The structure of the PDP
A PDP is virtually in the hands of 2/3 of members of the National Working Committee who are financed.
is in the hands of Wike.
Yes.
Who is a serving minister of
Under
FCT,
APC.
under
Under APC.
another party.
Another party. Of course, he worked against the candidate of his party.
So, looking at that dynamics now, we can say even the ruling party might have some kind of influence in the happenings in the PDP.
Certainly. Certainly. PDP is not going to know peace. That one is sure. PDP, and of course, you know Wiki is not
As
alone.
long
As Wiki is in that location. And you know, don't forget that Wiki is not alone. He has allies.
definitely
He has allies.
strong ones.
Strong ones. So, when time comes, they will simply activate them into, they will just be activated into operational mode again.
Okay.
It was, they did a lot of damage to the PDP. The damage was enormous,
Which the PDP is yet to recover from that.
especially Atiku.
Okay, still from the Daily Zone Solutions 93.9 FM. Let's move a bit away from politics now. The CMDs, the chief medical directors of teaching hospitals all over the country, some of them were at the reps yesterday, House of Reps yesterday, to defend their budget too. And one of the things they unanimously said was that poor pay is responsible for health workers leaving hospitals, which the hospitals are now becoming empty as a result of poor pay. Medical experts are doing what we call jack buying now
Yeah.
for greener pastures.
You see, we're human beings. We have desires, and we have needs to meet. Now, you are in Nigeria, non-medical professors, and no non-medical professor earns £500,000 by the time they deduct the taxes and all of that. And I don't think any medical professor earns more than 700,000 naira
Today,
today. Now, if you want to break it down, just divide it by 1,500
to $1.
to $1. I have a brother-in-law that earns like 14,000 pounds per month.
In the UK,
Yeah, he's on about 160 or thereabout £1,000
per month.
per annum. I mean,
Per annum.
per annum. Oh, no, sorry. So now, even in England, he is quite comfortable. Even in the people average, how much do people earn? Average people earn £3,000, £4,000. How many people earn £4,000 anyway? So if somebody is earning 12, 14,000 pounds per annum, per month rather, for God's sake, and you earn 600, 700,000 here, what can you do with 750,000? Just for your car, a regular car, not an SUV of 6 cylinders or whatever.
The 4 cylinders, 4 plugs.
And God help you if you have to pay rent, if you don't have official residence. God help you. You're not going to pay less than. Where are you going to be living?
So
now?
truly, our health workers are really underpaid.
And then, I told you you visit one of the tertiary health institutions at least once a month, if not twice. Look, I saw some things on my last visit. Heartrending. The doctors, in as much as they wanted to do some things, they just didn't have what to work with.
Poor working conditions.
Now, when you are in, the pay is bad. Then the operational environment.
To make it worse.
A cousin of mine was involved in a domestic accident. He was rushed to the UCH. After, he was stabilized, he was moved to the UK because that's where his family is. And when they were, opening him up to check him, they saw metal plates on him. And the doctor was saying, where the hell?
Metal plate within
Yeah,
him.
they do. Yeah.
Okay, it was operated on here in the
and
country.
then, broken bones and all of that. So they used metal plate. And the doctors in the UK said, where the hell was this done? In 2023, metal plates? Nobody
Still
uses
in
that
use.
anymore. The world has moved beyond that. Here in Nigeria, tertiary institution, they're still using metal plates with the attendant probable consequences.
I have a friend too that was involved in an accident in 2023. That in his thigh, they had to implant metal plates.
So nobody uses that stuff again. Well, the world has moved beyond that. Look how you see it. the basic issue of power alone.
Power. Remember, we had one sometime last year where there was blackout for months in the UCH.
Are you sure there's still power there? I doubt. I doubt.
All these things are enough to even make these medical experts want to leave the country.
You can even be encouraged if the operational environment is conducive, to productivity. Imagine if we were here and everywhere you don't have these systems. You have to use hard copy newspapers, or you don't have. What are you going to do effectively if you don't have the tools? And these are basic tools of work. So, and then the environment is bad, and then the pay is nothing to write home about. You're not going to be happy coming to work. I'm sure you're happy coming to work here.
But definitely, it is not news to our leaders what the CMD said yesterday.
Are you sure our leaders are still
What are
connected?
they waiting for? Do they want the whole thing to crumble before they take actions?
Has it not crumbled? I told you before, we are in a jungle. That's I am a certified opinion. We are in a jungle. Look, the people, we talk about sinner crimes. What does it take to organize society? What does it take, really? What does it take?
Because I remember during the time of Chris Ngige, he had one crisis with the doctors then, and some of the things the doctors were saying that they were being underpaid.
Yeah.
And him too being
Medical
a medical doctor,
Medical doctor.
as a labor minister then.
As a labor
He
minister.
did
He
nothing.
said they could go. He said we have more than enough doctors. I couldn't understand that. He said we have more than enough doctors. They just can go. But I'm told that the guy is a GP. He didn't do any residency, so he probably doesn't understand, the nitty-gritty of. Yes, it's enough for you to go to medical school, but residency is another ball game entirely. And when a labor minister say, how many medical doctors do we produce in Nigeria? And how many go away as soon as they're done with their residency? Because how many can afford residency in Europe or the United States? They cannot. But they do their residency here. As soon as they're done with their residency,
They leave.
they go. I mean, you see, look, it is important for you and I to be happy. And the environment has an influence in determining how happy. You may want to be happy, but what about if the environment is depressing? Because the environment has a lot of influence on us. I don't envy especially medical professionals in Nigeria. They don't have the tools to work with. Basic tools that you go to Benin Republic there.
And it is in abundance over there.
My prayer is no one will need urgent medical attention.
And that brings me, it brings to my mind, there was a particular group, I can't remember now, urging the president to revive our health sector and telling him to stop going on medical trips.
You see,
And which our leaders have been doing for so long. You hear them say, oh, they're going for, why not revive we have a UCH here in Ibadan that Arabian kings and princes used to come all the way from Saudi Arabia to get treated here. What happened?
Well, lack of planning or failure to stick to plans. That's how I keep telling people that we did not arrive this location by sudden flight. No, it has been a journey. You see, and then there is this idea of government. There is a need. Government cannot fund all these things. It is not possible. If they do initial funding, what about sustainability? You know, Obasanjo overhauled all those teaching hospitals in the 6 geopolitical zones. I think they picked one. You say here, UNTH, ABU, and all of that. 6 in the 6 geopolitical zones. What happened to all those equipments that were brought? Maintenance, sustainability is key. There is a need. Look, when you talk about the British system is the standard thing that they use. Health insurance. Health insurance is key. Even as we speak, health insurance is cheap in Nigeria. The ones organized by government. Health insurance is key to ensuring that facilities are renewed and all the requirements are there. And then those health insurance facilities, of course, those who are under it must get some, Yes, it's not perfect in England too. It is not. The situation is bad. If you want appointments, God help you. If you don't, probably die before,
You're being attended
Yes,
to.
but there is an health insurance system in place so that if 1,000 people contribute 1,000 naira, it is not likely that the 1,000 people will go to hospital for anything. Maybe just 10 out of it, 1,000. You understand? So the other 900 will be 990 will be providing support for the 10 that require some basic medical attention. Well, if we think government is going to be funding health and successfully so, the same thing goes for education. There are 600 plus secondary schools in Oyo State. Imagine the salaries alone. Not to talk about infrastructure. Not to talk about other things. 600. Where will the government get money from? We have to move away from all this government. We have to be creative. You understand? Creative governance. Everybody talks about government. Anything that happens, there was a fire outbreak somewhere, and I was listening to those who were affected. So the reporter was saying, so Kile Afeba is in, and the woman was saying, affecting government. I say government. How much can government do? 600 secondary schools. That is if there are 600 secondary schools, you can be sure there must be 1,200 primary schools. Tertiary education and all these governments everywhere, it is not going to work. Those times are over, and we don't have those petrodollars anymore. There must be participation. They say free education. Teachers must not collect a dime. And then you go to those schools and you feel sick.
I witnessed one. There was a particular promotional exam, a particular school which I would not like to mention.
Please
That
don't.
time, they were writing the promotional exam questions on the board.
You expect government
On the
cannot,
board with chalk.
government cannot fund health and sustain it, and then we are saboteurs. They put drugs in those primary health care facilities. The people there will steal the drugs and probably take them to their own private medicine stores and to go and sell. We are saboteurs.
All right, it's a 10:15 on Solutions 93.9 FM. Still from the dailies. Let's go on this commercial break. We'll be right back.
There is a place full of comfort, so beautiful with serene environment, good ambience for relaxation, complimentary breakfast, free internet service, and 24 hours electricity supply with maximum security guaranteed. No doubt about it. This is heaven on earth. This is Channel 8. Visit us at number 9 Babijo Street off Laduki Akintola Street, Ikolaba, Bodija, Ibadan, Oyo State. Telephone 0909 5180 592 or 0802 3099 414. Email info@channel8.com.ng. Website www.channel8.com.ng. Channel 8 Premium Hotel. Hospitality redefined.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. It's still from the Daily Zone Solutions at 93.9 FM, and we're looking at the stories on the front pages of newspapers this beautiful Wednesday morning. And another story that just caught my attention is this one about the CBN. CBN vows to tackle buying, selling of Naira notes. I mean, so many things came to my mind when I saw this particular issue. the first thing that came to my mind, I hope I was telling somebody that those people, some of us that go to Owambe, we have people selling naira notes.
Yeah, number one, wealth is a part of it. Had always been a part of our culture, even in the days of coins. You understand? You know, in Yoruba land, at least I can speak for that. They will use those 25. You know, we had 25 naira. Is it 25 kobo? 25 naira coins. I think it was 25 kobo. Those thick coins. We will use it and stick it on people's head. It's our culture, but it has been escalated to a ridiculous end now. I particularly averse to spray, what they call spraying money at parties. I don't think it is decent.
I'm even looking at I'm not even talking about the
yes,
abuse of the naira note.
and then
Buying
some people
and
now
selling.
buy. Because we were on Friday, they're there.
But virtually all Nigerians are now engaged in buying and selling of naira, especially if you engage the services of the POS operators.
And then yes, but that one to different levels. At parties, they buy and sell.
Because if you approach a POS operator to get some cash,
You
are
pay.
paying.
You pay. Have you forgotten the?
When you are not doing dollar to naira exchange,
Have you forgotten the time of Emefiele? That if you wanted 5,000, people are paying as much as 1,500.
and the same POS operators will tell you that they actually paid for this note,
Yeah.
maybe at the banks or wherever they got
Yes.
the
Yes.
funds from.
You see, just like I said, maybe about a week or so ago, a friend of mine told me, I said, you businessman, I don't envy you, the terrain. He said, with business. He said, everybody's trying to ambush the next person.
Comrade, I honestly haven't heard of or seen any country in the world where they pay or where they buy the same currency.
Their own currency.
Their own currency.
You pay for it.
I can't imagine being in America. You have to you want to collect some amount of dollars,
And
you
you
have
pay.
to pay some
You
dollars.
pay somebody. Your
Pay
own,
somebody.
especially when it is your own money.
That is it. To have access to
It's
your
your
money.
own money. You pay.
It's ridiculous. But it
You-
has become a norm here.
It has become a norm. It's been quite a while that I went to a bank debit machine to take money.
I can't even remember the last time I did.
So, but somehow I hardly you can't find 10,000 naira cash on me. It is most unlikely that you will find 10,000 naira cash on me.
Because you do more of e-transfer.
Yes. You see, I think, and then we have a problem with the infrastructure for cashless transactions. We have a big challenge. You know what people went through in the past 2 months or thereabout with cashless transactions. We do not. I don't understand why we do not have infrastructure that is sustainable. And
give us
but
a
the
seamless-
fintechs,
The fintechs are actually
the
doing
fintechs
well.
are doing better, and people are learning. People are shifting. People are moving to the fintechs. So the regular banks might be left behind in that regard. But buying and selling of naira, we are a funny people. Everybody is trying to exploit his location to ambush the next man. We are a strange people. The banks, rather than load their debit machines, they give money to POS. You see, just walk 200 meters and see how many POS operators are available. So why do banks?
I was actually somewhere around Moleti last week, and I saw virtually every step you take, there's a POS operator there.
So why do the banks not simply put their debit machines everywhere and load it with cash? Why? But the way we are, we are just trying to ambush.
And I once heard it from the grapevine, through the grapevine, that some of these POS operators are being operated by bank workers.
It's an ambush. Everyone
Some
trying
of
to-
them.
Yes, it's an ambush. Look at them. Everywhere you turn now, you find a POS operator. And you remember in December, they scale things up from 100 to 150.
Yeah,
and
the charges have
200.
gone
And
up now.
and also, excitement on their part. They're making money. As far as they're concerned.
Definitely.
They're making, but of course, festivities. People needed
Cash. So people did a lot of
People needed cash.
withdrawals.
Yes, people needed cash. Same happened to me in that period too. I did a lot of cash. I needed to carry quantum of cash around, and we are busy exploiting each other, all in the name of money. All in the name of money. Kosovo 200 needs him. We are not, and we are not a particularly nice people when it comes to exploiting each other. The same thing happens to the what do you call it, consumer products. I think yesterday we said it. I said, just behind the lines, people are making 150 at least beans. Rice is a different ballgame. 150% profit from one shop to the other. I think we're not being fair to each other.
Comrade, before we wrap up, let me take two stories now. The first one, Senate insists on census this year, decries lack of exercise in 19 years. The last exercise we had, were there benefits from
There
it?
are usually disputations when it comes to
And do we even get to the actual figures, or it's just a
That's-
project that takes away money?
That's what I call the disputations. And you can imagine how much is invested in these things. The last time they wanted to do it, I think it was about 2 years ago, in the last year of, what do you call them? Buhari. So, believe you me, Damola, when the guy in charge of Oyo State came, for an interview, off here I was asking, I said, are you guys actually serious? That thing was just about a week or two away. I said, are you guys actually serious about a census? And the man broke it down that more of what they're doing now is technology driven. You won't forget that in the days of Obasanjo, Nigeria was shut down for 5 days. I remember, I was just coming from work. Friday, 4 o'clock news. This Radio Nigeria, 4 o'clock news. I just had it. 3 days. And then there was an additional 2 days. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Shut Nigeria down. But how many days are they going to do? And then, just like you said, you see, so much is attached to it. The issue of population. Look at population plays a role in how money resources are shared in Nigeria. So you want to ascribe a high population to, and then to justify, especially the derivation for political offices.
And they
how
want
many
to,
constituencies
they want
you
to
have.
alter the figures.
So, rather than focusing on it being a tool for planning, economic planning, we are focusing on the political end of it. It is not intended to be political. It is intended for economic planning. But no, we major in the minor.
Majoring on the minor. Now, as we wrap up, there's this particular story which interests all Nigerians. I know many years ago, I've had friends that would get pregnant here in Nigeria, and they will say, okay, I'm going to the US to have my child, so that automatically my child will become a citizen of America. But Akoni's friend, like I like to call him, Donald J. Trump, has been sworn in as the president of the United States, and he's saying all that he called it nonsense will stop, that there is no automatic birthright citizenship. And in the news this morning, birthright citizenship, civil rights groups sue Trump over executive order. As we wrap up.
Yes, it's a constitutional provision, and you can't take that away with an executive order. So the courts are going to settle that. It's you go to the Congress.
But Trump is always known for causing all this kind of.
A man is the star, and the star is the man. I like what is happening. So many things will be settled. You understand? He's arousing, he's raising a lot of dust. So many
Raising
things.
dust.
A lot of dust. And so many things will be settled. And he will know his
And one of
place.
the things he said is that he recognizes only two genders, a male and a female.
Well, that's a big one. For me personally, as an individual, I think that is the right thing. But people have rights. Where does those rights that people have, where does it stop? You understand? Where does it end? Where does my own right start? The court will settle that. And some of these things, I hope they're not going to unleash some social responses, that can cause dislocations.
Well, I think Trump is prepared for that, all that.
Americans prepared for that.
Okay, that's the wrap for today. Thank you very much, Comrade Ayode Jajishokwe, for being a part
My pleasure.
of the program. I'll be back again tomorrow morning for a fresh edition of From the Dailies on Solutions and 93.9 FM. My name is Ade Damola Lafenwa. Stay tuned to your number one radio dial, Solutions 93.9 FM. And as we go out there today, let's make it a winning Wednesday. Good morning once again.
Radio is all about information, education, and entertainment.
Maybe that's before now. Solutions 93.9 FM has raised the standard of radio broadcast to preferring solutions in all human angle. 939 FM, the remedy.
Ready energy day, ready sound day, ready news day, ready sport day, ready cut the day. Hey, now because you know the turn. We know the turn. We know the turn. Hey, we know the turn. We know the turn. We know the turn. Hey, energy day, everything day, yeah. On 93.9. I said you need 100. 93.9 to okay.
93.9, your remedy dial.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn. Solutions 93.9 FM.
ẹ tiẹ̀ mọ́ rìn bí mo ṣe ń parí mọ́tò yìí gẹ́lẹ́lẹ́ dé o ó yẹ wá yẹ̀wò.
Bá a mú kọ́kọ́rọ́. ó tiẹ̀ dá a báwọn kọ́kọ́ tó ló ṣe náà rèé kò burú àwọn kọ́kọ́ yóò tó gbẹ̀mí mi màá yà wábì kan tà sí.
kò tí ì lè tó bẹ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ mi bóyá kí wọn náà mọ fetí sétò alákọ̀wé ọ̀tọ̀ ló bá bọ́ lọ́wọ́ ogun fòníkú fọláǹdé tí ń bọ́kọ̀ rẹ̀ fira níkànnì Solutions 93.9 FM níbi tẹ́ẹ̀ ti láǹfààní láti kọ́ nípa onírúurú ìṣòro tó lè máa da ọkọ̀ láàmú tẹ́ẹ̀ sì láǹfààní láti máa béèrè ìbéèrè lọ́dọ̀ àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ìbò ń pè ní auto expert ìbẹ́ẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé béèyàn bá nímọ̀ nípa nǹkan ayé kan máa fi jẹun alákọ̀wé ọ̀tọ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Wednesday láti aago 4 títí di aago 5 rọ̀lẹ́ ní kẹ́ ti máa pàdé ọmọ yín ọ̀rẹ́ yín Fatima Abdulkadri Adùfẹ́ Adé níkànnì Solutions 93.9 FM alákọ̀wé ọ̀tọ̀ àǹfààní láti ní ìmọ̀ nípa ọkọ̀.
ṣé Ìbàdàn lẹ mọ̀
ẹ mọ̀ láyìípo àbáwọn nǹkan wo gan lẹ mọ̀ nípa Ìbàdàn tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ ní dáhùn sí gbogbo àwọn ìbéèrè yìí àtàwọn nǹkan míì tó tún gbé yín lọ́kàn nípa Ìbàdàn ẹ jẹ́ á pàdé ní gbogbo ọjọ́rú Wednesday látago 8 sí 9 àṣálẹ́ níléeṣẹ́ rédíò Solutions 93.9 FM ilé àwẹ̀ ní Òkè Àdó Ìbàdàn pẹ̀látọ́kùn ètò Adérẹ̀mí Adégbóyèga níbi tí ó ti mọ̀ sàwọn ìtàn Ìbàdàn fún yín lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ìpele là á kọ́lé ìpele là á káàsẹ̀ ìpele kejì ètò ni ó ti mọ̀ gbà wọn ọmọ bíbí ìlú Ìbàdàn tí wọ́n ti làmìlaka lálejò àtàwọn tí kì í sọmọ bíbí ìlú Ìbàdàn ṣùgbọ́n tí Ìbàdàn ti gbé gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ti mọ̀ wípé Ìbàdàn nílùú tó ń gbé onílé tó ń gbé àlejò tí wọ́n sì mọ̀ dáhùn sáwọn ìbéèrè lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan ètò ìlú Ìbàdàn tó bá dọjọ́ Wednesday láago 8 sí 9 àṣálẹ́ àjọ máa gbádùn ẹ̀.
mẹ̀tọ́mọ̀fin ètò kan àròtọ̀ tí Ọlálékan Sanni Open Arm Foundation ó sọ àfisọ nígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀ láti mọ̀ ńlá ará ìlú lọ́yẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀tọ́ kó wá àwọn lábẹ́ òfin ká má bàa wá lùgbàdì òfin tàbí fẹ̀tọ́ ẹni dùn wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí ará ìlú látọwọ́ agbófinró ìjọba tàbárà ìlú sára ìlú láì yẹ nìkan kan lẹ̀ mẹ̀tọ́mọ̀fin ní gbogbo ọjọ́rú Wednesday láago 5 títí dago 6 rọ̀lẹ́ amòfin wa tó dáńtó ti wà ń kalẹ̀ láti mọ ìyànnà náà kan ọ̀jọ̀kan ẹ̀tọ́ ará ìlú ojúṣe ìjọba àti bá a ṣe lè mọ gbígbé ayé ìrọ̀rùn láì tẹ òfin lójúmọ́lẹ̀ tí òfin tàbí agbófinró náà ò ní lè fọ̀bẹ́ ẹ̀yìn jẹ wá níṣu nípa ìlóye kíkún nínú kí lòfin sọ mẹ̀tọ́mọ̀fin lètò abala tá a pè nítura ará ìlú ò ní gbẹ̀yìn pẹ̀lú àgbékalẹ̀ àjọ Ọlálékan Sanni Open Arm Foundation láti máa ṣèrànwọ́ fáwọn tó bá ní ìpèníjà lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan lórí ẹjọ́ dúkùú èdè àìyedè àti ìpẹ̀tùsáwọ̀ pẹ̀lú òmìnira kúrò nínú páńpẹ́ òfin lọ́nà tó bófin mu tẹ́sí tún máa jẹ̀bùn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń pè lórí aago sórí ètò live mẹ̀tọ́mọ̀fin ẹ pàdé wa lọ́sẹ̀ẹ̀sẹ̀ lórí ètò yìí mẹ̀tọ́mọ̀fin ní gbogbo ọjọ́rú Wednesday láago 5 títí dago 6 rọ̀lẹ́ ní ìkànnì tá a wà yìí ni o yóò ṣeé ṣe o àjọ Ọlálékan Sanni Open Arm Foundation ó sọ àlóṣò nígbàwọ́ ẹ̀.
Túndé ti dé o ọmọ Adédọ́kun.
àwa olólùfẹ́ ìfẹ́ ẹlẹ́ni ìfẹ́ ẹ̀ta ìfẹ́ ẹ̀ta nífẹ́ ìlú nífẹ́ ẹ̀yà bàbá ń fìfẹ́ bára ẹni lò inú ilé ó dùn ìlú ó gún régé àwa olólùfẹ́ lètò pẹ̀lú èmi ọmọ yín ọ̀rẹ́ yín olólùfẹ́ yín Túndé Adédòkun ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ pàdé lọ́jọ́ Wednesday ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí láago 10 sáago 1 òru ìpele lètò yìí ìpele àkọ́kọ́ la ti ń fọ̀rọ̀ fẹ́ jẹ́wọ̀ tí gbogbo èèyàn sì mọ̀ dá sí i ìpele kejì la pè ní má sunkún mọ́ nínú ìrìn àjò ìfẹ́ rẹ ìpele kẹta lórí ètò àwọn olólùfẹ́ láti sọ̀rọ̀ bùsùn láago 12 sáago 1 òru fún ìkéde àti ìpolówó ọjà ẹ pè mí sórí nọ́mbà yìí 080 69 78 97 95 àwa olólùfẹ́ àjọ máa gbọ́ ni.
ìdílé tó ti fẹ́ dàrú ètò olólùfẹ́ túnṣe.
Solutions 93.9 FM máa gbọ́ lójoojúmọ́. kágbà ló tó dáyé nǹkan kan lẹ́dìẹ̀ ń jẹ kó tó dàsìkò yìí àti àwọn ọmọ sí i tó ń torí ìsìn tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ nǹkan kan làwọn bàbá wa ń gbọ́ láyé àtijọ́.